Hi, I'm Patti, and it's April 2013. 1 year ago this month, I was a healthy, vital 58-year-old, shocked to discover a lump in my breast. At a respected facility by an esteemed surgical oncologist who happens to be a friend of mine, I had 2 full days of conventional tests run, which resulted in the diagnosis of stage 2 ductal carcinoma in situ, tumor size estimated to be about 3.5 centimeters. Their plan of treatment was the standard protocol. For me, I could only hear the slang version of the prognosis, which was poison, cut, and burn. I was not enamored with the prospect of putting known carcinogenics into my body via radiation and chemotherapy, nor was surgery an appealing prospect. Immediately, I began my pursuit of a non-toxic approach for the cure. In spite of this cancer diagnosis, I was in good physical shape and experienced no symptoms of any illness. I did not take any prescription or over-the-counter drugs. My days were full and active. With 6 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws, 6 grandchildren under the age of 6, volunteer work, and a part-time position, my life was full and busy. Without delay, however, I poured myself into the World Wide Web. Between my faith, my personal doctor, my family, and my desire to live to be 100, as I had proclaimed since I was 50, I was determined to find something better than what the conventional medicine was offering. The very same day that I found the lump, I made lifestyle changes instantly. My doctor explained to me that processed sugar fed cancer. So, I quit eating sugar. Out of my diet went dairy and wheat, and exercise ranked supreme. After much consultation following the multitude of conventional tests, I did choose to have a lumpectomy, all the while in my heart hoping for an instantaneous miracle cure. On June 20th, a 7.5 centimeter mass was removed and studied by the pathologist. The pathologist's reports were temporarily devastating. The original diagnosis was only part of the full picture of what was happening inside. The report said there was invasive lobular carcinoma. There were 0 clean margins. To the uninitiated, that meant the doctor did not remove all of the cancer at the site. And there was a bonus. There was cancer in the sentinel lymph node. Believe it or not, all of this became a blessing in disguise. As I recovered from the surgery and pondered the next step, I was more determined to find a non-toxic solution to my situation. The gift of time was given to me. The cancer was slow growing, and the medical oncologist was often on vacation. So my appointments were far and few between. My days and nights were consumed with reading about alternative cancer cures and phone consultations with alternative cancer doctors around the country. Truthfully, there is far more information available than anyone could absorb in 10 lifetimes. I enlisted my friends and family to support me through prayers and was humbled by their constant outpouring of love and concern. They placed me on prayer lists where I found strangers were praying for me. Words can't express the gratitude that I have for the flood of compassion I experienced. It came in many forms. There were calls, notes, cards, emails, gifts, and visits, each a treasure, which helped me along my journey. I mentioned the personal, emotional aspect of my daily life with cancer because it was critical in sustaining me. I recognized that I wasn't suffering any horrible physical calamities. Rather, my drama was internal. The cancer wreaked havoc with my psyche. Where others had physical pain, I had mental anguish. It seemed to me that no true advances had been made in 50 years and hundreds of billions of dollars later. So how could I kick this? So many unanswered questions and so much seemed not to be known about cancer. As I read, a tremendous amount of new information was constantly flooding my brain. Somehow, I needed to organize and synthesize the quality information and eliminate the charlatans. It was a good thing I had two things working for me. One was my dear doctor friend Valerie, and there to translate every word and theory into plain English. And then, at the end of the day, I could sleep. And sleep, is when your body heals itself. I truly believe, through the guidance of the Holy Spirit, I was led to a website that was a clinic in Mexico. I interviewed Dr. Tony at the Hope for Cancer Raphael Clinic, and he said he could help me in an all non-toxic way. Within 10 days, I was there. I was placed on a stricter than vegan diet and given many protocols to follow to detoxify my body. It was all in preparation for the first BX antitoxin. After 12 days of those preparatory activities, I took the first injection of BX antitoxin on July 31, 2012. And so, my wonderful relationship with Dr. Smith, the Delta Institute, the staff, and BX antitoxin itself began. I took what was called the gold cap as my initial dose, but over the last 9 months I've taken other colored caps, orange and blue, and I take them at irregular times, always after I've had blood work to give the Delta Institute more information about how my body is doing. I have daily contact with the back office at the Delta Institute. With that constant contact and supervision, they are totally aware of how I'm responding to the therapies. Initially, my blood work had the cancer markers all high and out of normal range. Well, that was to be expected. I had cancer. My blood was drawn every month. By the third month, the cancer markers were showing an incline of coming down. After 6 months, just in time for a birthday celebration of 59 years of life, I received the gift of all cancer markers in the normal range. I celebrated by going out to dinner with my husband and my 88-year-old parents. Then in February, at the 7-month blood work, the cancer markers were even lower in the normal range, which is a positive sign. Let me go back to the first several months as the BX caused the cancer cells to die. I did experience Herxheimer's reactions. They were mild, but I assume that's because the cancer load was not heavy and that the Delta team was administering the BX in manageable amounts for me. The worst I can report is that I had experienced itching, virtually contained to my arms, but scratching did nothing to alleviate the sensation. To me, it was a very minor trade-off for killing cancer cells. The other Herxheimer or not that I could have experienced were hot flashes. Maybe they were just typical for my age, but either way, it was not a big deal. Another aspect of detoxifying my body has been the current removal of the gold crown I had on a lower left molar. My thermogram showed a great deal of heat running directly from the lower jaw to the breast. With the removal of the crown, the thermogram line has been broken, the line of heat. Therefore, at this point, I'm allowing my body to process more healing before the next thermogram and the eventual permanent crown being put in place. I was asked to mention the quality of my life before and after BX. Life before BX was actually great. However, life after BX is more improved and wonderful. I am dealing with both the physical and emotional aspects of myself in order to not have the same problems show up as cancer in the future. Therefore, my daily work continues to be, as they say, a work in progress. I awaken each day now grateful for the research on which Dr. Smith spent 18 years of his life. It saved mine. That's why I can clearly state that the quality of my life after BX is richer and improved. for I did not have to suffer the conventional misery which accompanies the burn and poison approach. The comparison of the BX antitoxin to what was being proffered is profoundly and radically different. Let me share what I saw when I spent 2 days a year ago at the hospital for all of my tests. I met strong, beaten down women. Most were bald, some were crying, a few were comforting others, but all were maimed in some manner. Being an empathetic person, I was able to feel their pain. They were suffering, they were scared, they appeared defeated. It was so very sad. I had no interest in being like them, no interest in becoming one of them, except in one regard. They bonded like an instant family and were as close as lifelong sorority sisters. There was a true beauty in the virtually tangible love that they have for one another. They knew and understood each other without a word being uttered. I was truly not one of them, as I had not yet suffered any treatments, yet they embraced me. So life before and after BX, I have only gratitude because I have a full, healthy life to live after BX. This past year has been one of growth in knowledge of self, medical knowledge, and spiritual maturation. It is my hope that if you are taking the time to watch this, that you find in the BX antitoxin the same positive results that I did. May God bless you. I know He has blessed me by helping me to discover this non-toxic approach to better health. Thank you.